as you can see, this is Umar Johnson on the screen, and everyone has made a video about him and this TV One, News One, with Roland Martin show. Oh, I have heard it all. I have heard the word coon being thrown around. I've heard bedwench, lesbian bedwench, and anything that you can think of about this. And it's really interesting because it is coming from the pro-black sector of YouTube. I am not someone who listens to someone like an Umar Johnson. I've heard things, but I'm not familiar with his work and what he does. I know bits and pieces about him, and also when he is, trending because of some controversy. And because I classify him as a Tariq Nasheed, a TBA, it's really not for black women at all. I feel like it. But the only thing that I don't have a problem with is him saying that he would like to see black men with black women and raising black families. There's nothing wrong with that. Every race of people, any nationality you can find, they do that. They practice that. And I myself, who has dated interracially, felt like I was like someone who was the oddball, because it wasn't coming from a place where I don't like black men. I like all kinds of men, including black men of different shades. It wasn't this, because people like to say, oh, you're self-hating and all of that, which is bullshit. You don't have to hate yourself or hate black people or hate your blackness and your dating. But the only way you can say that is if you are dating your race and you're saying that you only specifically date that person because you have something negative to say about your own people, whether that's male or female. If you are firing unnecessary shots, generalizing your own men or women, and you know that those same traits are found within other races, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when you can call it you're only for that person because you think they are better because of their race. Not everybody is with someone of a different race because they think they are better. It's just someone that they met. And I can say that for myself, when I dated interracially, it was just someone that I happened to like, not thinking, oh, this guy is savior and he's going to be better than a black man. That's stupid. But anyway, I'm not in agreement with Dr. Umar. I really am not trusting, and I haven't been trusting since I left the Christian Catholic Church. I have a hard time trusting what people say, because it's very convenient that this came about after what he did, and I'm going to go back and show a little bit of that. But they had some of these black people up here that didn't make sense, and people, it was just the perfect setup for people to call the panel that Roland had up there. We know Roland is Christian, and then the other panel members, except for the other guy who talked about his mother, would say, how can you be militant and pro-black and take that stance and stand on that square and you be sleeping with a white person? I do understand that. I believe you can be for the progression of your people, but you can be militant. I don't see you being militant, because you do have to take a little bit of consideration for your spouse or the person you're dating. But on the other side, people kept talking about the black lady. She's a lesbian, she's a coon, she's a bedwench, just going in on her. And also the other guy who happens to be married to a white female. as you can see here. And I don't believe that at all. I believe they were paid to have the perception that they have. I don't think that they're all the names that people are calling them. I believe that this is a situation where it made Dr. Umar Johnson look really good after not looking so good. And we all know, if you pit a black man up against a black woman and she's saying something like that, like she's leaning toward so-called caping for white people or white men especially, you're definitely going to drum up some positive attention on yourself in this climate that really supports rhetoric against black women, bashing of black women in media and social media. So the way I saw this was very different. Like I said, I don't disagree with him about black families or anything like that, because that's the norm. I mean, in my mind, the majority of people are not like myself. I thought they, date within their own race, and I thought I was kind of like the weird person who didn't, but obviously it's increasing. I don't think by much, but it's increasing, and people are losing their mind and saying that the black race is dying out. And also on the flip side, people are saying, from this, the white race is dying out. Is really interesting. I took it as this is a way to clean up Dr. Umar Johnson's image, because he was not looking too good, and I think people kind of fell back off of him, away from him, after his stunt that he pulled. But when you look at this interview, and I've seen so many people break this interview down, the one person that they focus on, even though this black guy here, he has a white wife, they could have went in on him, talked about him, but the one thing that I noticed, he was very aggressive with the female. And when I look at interviews that people do on this, they go after her with a vengeance. And like I said, that is capitalizing on this environment towards black women. But I think everybody remembers this. Everybody was clowning him about picking up the cell phone, like he was on the phone talking and then the phone rang. And also the infamous "speak your speech." The statement. Yeah, it's hilarious. And I use that phrase too. But he went in on Seti, and he was calling him a cracker, even though he's a light-skinned black man, and he's another one in the conscious pro-black Egyptology. I don't know it that well because I'm not a part of it. I don't know that sector and all of the names and all of that, to what it called, conscious movement or something. I think that's what it's called. It's called like the conscious movement. Seti is another conscious guy, and they got into it. But yeah, this was supposed to be out of character for him. He was trying to be gangster, he was yelling "speak your speech" to Seti, and this did not make him look good. And then he did another video saying, people should have defended him instead of him even apologizing for that moment, because he says that he is the prince of Pan-Africanism. That's what it is. He's the prince of this. He is the head of this. He's the numero uno Negro of Pan-Africanism. And he presented himself like he's a scholar. He said that he was celibate, but he was messing around with a conscious stripper. And she went on to say he's like spending money for the school. He doesn't have a school. He's got money for a school. He hasn't produced anything. He's explained why. And there's a few things that a lot of people say is shady. Now, in this video, he was ranting and raving, speaking of himself as in a third person and calling himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism. He was going in on Seti. This was directed at Seti. It was hilarious. The phone incident happened here. He called him a cracker. He said he looked in the mirror every day and saw a white man. This is where he says, speak your speech. Yeah, he went in. Everybody saw this. He was trending on social media for this. Everybody who associated with him, was giving him the side eye. A few people, you always have those hardcore people who believe in their leader, and they will stick by them even when they are wrong. This was the embarrassing moment because he was coming off as hardcore street when he says he is a scholar, he is a professional, he has several degrees, and this didn't look too good. And I think people fell back because of this video. And this right here is Seti. This is who he called a white man a cracker, and he looks in the mirror every day and see a white guy. You can clearly see that this is a light-skinned black guy who does not look mixed, or he doesn't look white at all. Since then, I really didn't hear anything about Umar Johnson, but what I gathered from the interview with Roland Martin is he has actually been on that show before, and he was not treated like as such. He was not treated in a negative fashion. To me, Umar seemed very prepared. He knew what to say, and it hit all areas that it needed to. To me, I'm not sure how close he is with Roland Martin. If they were cool in the beginning, he has him on his show, I would think that they could be friends. But it's the panel that I can't get over. When they started talking, when they went over to the panel, and each one of them were going to say their little talking points, I could see it was almost like they were getting ready to say a speech, because they would look at Roland Martin right before they said something. And these individuals seemed like they were picked out. They were hand-picked and, in my mind, paid to say what they say, because his speech and what he said to them was, it didn't seem like it was a debate or anything like that. It just seems planned. Black women cheering for him. You have black men cheering for him. You have, the pro-black community just, up in arms and happy about all of this. But I see it in a different way. I see with this situation with Seti was not good for him. And with anybody who knows, if you're a public figure, you do have to either apologize or get back on top. And Dr. Umar is not going to apologize. He didn't feel like he should have done that so-called apology that he kind of did. So what he did was, I think he enlisted his friend Roland Martin. He wanted to come on the show. Roland Martin picked some people with his opposing view and maybe even went over some talking points for them to say to help Umar Johnson get his favoritism back. That's what I honestly believe, that these people were paid to say these talking points, and it was all in the name to help Umar Johnson's image. I do. That's the way it looked to me. Because off the bat, him and the woman went at it. You know, if you look at other videos, they're calling her a bitch, a bed wench, a lesbian, bed wench, every name in the book. So it was him and a black woman. And that dynamic, you're going to sweep in a bunch of men who have an issue with black women. And in this climate, bashing black women is permissible and it is paid. People will pay you to do it, and it's popular, to be in media and social media doing that. And then after that, you have the dark-skinned black man who happens to be married to a white woman, and he has conservative views, and he is a we are the world person. He didn't even go hard on him the way he went after the woman. But yeah, that's basically how I see it. I see this Roland Martin interview. It came from out the blue. And I feel like, Roland Martin isn't going to invite someone on his show or do anything that would make him look bad. I believe he helped a friend, get back out there. And in turn, he did get a controversial interview. To me, this just seems like the perfect PR stunt to take your mind away from concerns, not even concerning his lineage. With money, with the school, and other things that have come up and question about Umar Johnson. That took away from that, and now you have people on social media and media, they are mad at Roland. They said that, everybody up there was coons, and, the women just melted, because the one thing that black women want to hear is a black man, saying that black men need to be with black women. That is something that black women just would sell their souls for. But honestly, I'm not buying it. And I do see this as everything that he did before is automatically gone. Now we're going to focus on this. Now this is a distraction. And now he has a even bigger fan base maybe than he had before, because he destroyed the black woman, which a lot of black men want to see, and people take enjoyment out of that. And also, he put the coon in his place, which everybody likes to use that word. But yeah, I'll go ahead and end it here. Let me know what you think. Do you think that this interview was genuine? Do you think it was for PR and to wipe away this negativity that he has been getting towards his image? Let me know. Leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one.